As humans, we're drawn to certain sets of identifiable patterns. Whether for our own survival or to satisfy something in our ego, these patterns are present and we look for them everywhere. Sometimes we don't even know that we do. In art and architecture, the golden ratio satisfies us aesthetically. Likewise, we find patterns in literature and myth, in characterization and in plot. In this series, we're going to learn how to identify these patterns, why they matter, how they're going to impact our writing, and some of the notable figures who've noticed them far before our time. So I want to preface this section with a few things. Firstly, it's very common to be discouraged when something that you've written seems to fall into a pattern. It's imperative that you embrace the notion that nothing that you write will be altogether original. Part of the magic of being a writer is that we can make people believe that they're hearing something new as part of the art. We have to place aside our writerly egos and figure out how we can make archetypes work for us. So what's an archetype? An archetype is a classification, a broad generalization of something based on its ability to reflect on the human condition in a profound way. As we discuss archetypes further, especially in character archetypes, you will see how they have a basis in psychology and how these types satisfy something in us on a human level, no matter our culture or language. Archetypes transcend time and live beyond what is trendy. Tropes are not archetypes. Whereas archetypes satisfy our expectations on a human level, tropes satisfy what we expect culturally. Tropes in patterns in American TV, they may not be commonplace in Russia, as we differ culturally from Russia. An example of a trope can be found when a character raises his sunglasses on the beach to watch a girl pass by in a swimsuit, completely ignoring his friend who's talking to him. It's funny, we expect it a bit, it's a trope. But this would not be commonly found in a culture where nudity in television is frowned upon. Clichés are something else entirely. They're noticeably overdone. They're cheap. While clichés may be oversimplifications of the truth, they're lazy in fiction and should be avoided. Stereotypes are arguably the worst of these. Ethics aside, stereotypes will damage your material the most as they highlight your voice as a writer. They prevent character growth, they stand in the way of plot progression, they make characters less believable, and they provide limited perspective. While clichés often have roots in some truth, stereotypes often bypass truth in favor of some personal prejudice. Ethics on stereotypes could be debated for some time. You'll eventually develop a stance on your level of responsibility of social and political agendas in your writing, if any. That's not something I'm going to cover here. Note that archetypes provide the most flexibility for perspective and characterization in your writing due to how they impact the reader on such a fundamental level. Like a pyramid, archetypes are the foundation, and as you climb upward, you narrow your flexibility and reader demographic. So why are archetypes so profound, so flexible? What are they doing for us? As we've covered, they defy cultural boundaries. They're unifying. We find comfort in that unity. They say something about what it means to be human. As our stories are human stories, we won't outrun archetypes. There are theories we will cover that suggest that we want to see these patterns and that they are a part of a collected human unconscious. That is why, in fact, we want to make them work for us. The rest of the videos in the series will hopefully present some more tools for your toolbox, so feel free to check them out and we hope to see you then.